And I'm so happy that you're all here still. I didn't chase anybody away with my horrible Robert Plant impersonation. Very happy about that. Anyway, so let's do our, oops.
I just took it with me.
Yes. Yeah, my apologies for that. I'm here, I'm making a solemn promise right now. I will do no more singing from this stage. I don't have any promises about after parties and no promises about dancing, but we're done, or I'm done at least with the singing. That should have gotten some kind of applause, shouldn't it? Well, welcome to our party. This is our traditional greeting. Who's excited? Come on. Who's fired up? Okay, that's the way we always start Pulse. We did that 10 minutes later today, but that's the way we always start it. And this is our 8th Pulse. We've done 5 in the US. This is our 3rd one in Europe. Wait, we're still in Europe, right? Oh, yeah. Hey, Lauren, make a note. If we're going to do Pulse Europe next year, we might have to move it. I hear Mallorca's nice. Anyway, welcome. We're really excited to have you guys here. It is our party. This year alone, over 5,500 people have come to Pulse in the US and Europe now. It's a super exciting thing for us. It's the community coming together, and we feel as a company really responsible for curating and nurturing the community. So this is the event where we want to bring all those people together, and I can hardly see to the back of the room, so I think we've done that pretty successfully. I'm just going to take a minute to make some personal comments. So I moved to Europe 15 months ago. So when we did Pulse Europe last year, I was actually a resident of London, but I really didn't know anybody. And a year later, I look out here and I see a whole bunch of people that not only do I know them, but a whole bunch of people who are truly friends of mine, and a whole bunch more who are future friends. And it's really an honor to be part of this community. I think customer success is a really unique discipline. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's the fact that it's new or the nature of the job, but the community is something that's really, really important. And so when I look out and see colleagues and friends and future friends, it really makes me feel good about being part of this. And I especially want to thank a whole bunch of those friends and colleagues who actually are going to make this event great. Because more than this being a Gainsight event, this is really a community event. The content is shared by your peers, people that we've talked to, that we know understand something about customer success, that we can turn into speakers here. And so I just want to say, on behalf of myself and all of Gainsight, thank you very much for those who are participating in Pulse from the bottom of my heart. Now, we've done 8 Pulses, and by my count, that's about 13,000 people. And I think somewhere along the way, I've talked to at least 10,000 of those people. And there's one theme I hear over and over and over again when people are leaving Pulse, and that is they feel validated. So I want all of you to think about that this week. Find a way to feel validated, and I'll tell you why. There's 3 themes to being validated that I hear over and over from people who come to Pulse. Number 1 is you're not alone. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look around and figure out that you're not alone, but you're not alone in the job you're doing. There's a bunch of peers here who are sharing some of the same challenges you are. Somebody sitting at your own table probably has a boss who's demanding, a CEO who's ridiculously demanding, challenges that you don't know how to meet because you've never done it before, and maybe they haven't either. But the great thing about Pulse is the opportunity to bond with other people over shared pain. Nothing bonds human beings together like shared pain. If I find out you had the same knee surgery as I had, we're friends for life, right? It's just the way it works. So this is such a great chance to do that, and I know it's why so many of you are here, because the networking part of this is really important. So just remember, you're not alone. Number 2, you're not stupid. Now, I know none of you are stupid, and you know you're not stupid, but when you're new at something, you can feel pretty stupid. If anyone remembers the last time they were on the first day of a new job, that's the definition of feeling stupid, right? Everybody else knows everything, and you don't even know where the toilet is, right? So we all are in that situation when we're new to something. we tend to feel stupid. What you're going to find out this week is that some of the things that you're doing or thinking about are even ahead of some others that have been around for a little while. It's such a new category, a new discipline, that common sense applies in many, many cases. So you'll walk away knowing for sure that you're not stupid, and in fact, you're probably ahead of some of the other folks. And the last one along those same lines is you're not 5 years behind. You're just not. There's almost nobody who's been in customer success for 5 years. And even if they have been, you're probably still not 5 years behind them, because the capabilities and the ideas and all of the sharing that's been done has accelerated the learning curve for everybody. So think about these things as you go through the week, and I guarantee you, you're going to walk away on Wednesday feeling validated. You're not alone, you're not stupid, and you're not 5 years behind everybody else. We're all in this together, right? We're on this journey together, and so let's enjoy it. One thing I want to talk about just real quickly. Now, many of you have been to probably at least as many conferences as I've been to, but I have a theory about how to do conferences. It works for me, and I want to share it with you. I call it the 1-1-1 plan, which is pretty simple. Find one person here that you're going to stay in touch with. I think that'll be really easy. I probably don't have to tell you to do that. But I've always told my CSMs over the years, if you're not spending an hour a month with one or two other people doing your job at a different company, then you're not doing your career a service. It is such a great learning opportunity. There's no substitute for looking somebody in the eye and asking this question. Just tell me 2 things you're doing that are working and 2 things you've tried that didn't work. And what will come out of that is really, really healthy. These conversations are great. And you can do it with people at your own company, but I recommend you find somebody at a different company and have those conversations, because they'll see things slightly differently. The second number one is try to find something that you're going to start doing on Monday, or in this case, maybe Thursday morning. Because this too often happens. You go to a conference, you go back to the office, Monday morning, somebody says, maybe your boss, how was it? And you say, oh yeah, it was really good, great speakers, it was fun. And nothing changes about the way you do your job. I'm just saying to you, find something that you're going to change first thing Monday morning or first thing Thursday morning. And there'll be plenty of opportunities. You'll take a lot of notes, take a lot of pictures, so there'll be plenty of things that you could start immediately. And then find one more thing that you can think about doing 6 months from now. Because there'll be some things you'll hear that you'll say, great idea, I do want to do that, but I'm not ready for it, or we're not ready for it. Put it on your calendar for 6 months from now. Because these things fade away too quickly when you get back into the grind of your daily job. So just keep that in mind, 1-1-1. It'll make the conference great, and I think you'll take something out of it. So now time for the ceremonial fist bump, customer success fist bump. Find somebody next to you and give them the bump. Say hi, good morning, make some noise, come on. We're excited, we're a community. And I have no friends. Yeah, this is what always happens. You let them start talking and then you can't stop them. I've always found in the customer success world, it's way easier to get people talking to each other than it is to stop. But I've been saying stop. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to venture into a slightly dangerous topic, the future. One of my goals here is to try to paint the picture of where we're going. We talked a little bit about where we've been. We explored the history of customer success. I hope you all took notes on that and remember all of those things I shared. But now I want to talk about where we're going. We have to look back a little bit to look forward. But I think it's important because we're all in this career, at least at the moment. Is it something that's going to be around for a while? Is it something that's going to be important for a while? So I'm not going to do silly predictions, and I'm not going to say everything's going to change, because we all know that. But let's look back, and then we'll look forward and see where we're going. So we're in a transformation. We're always in a transformation. If you're associated with technology in any way, you're almost always in a transformation. But there have been a number of transformations that have really, really changed the way we live. Right? For some of you, if anybody in the room is as old as me, you might remember the time when personal computers were new. There was a time when there was no internet. Some of you probably don't know that. But there was a time when there was no internet, and when it came along, the transformation was obviously huge. And then we did a mobile transformation, and then we did a social transformation. In some ways, maybe we're still in that social transformation a little bit. One of the things that characterized each of these transformations is companies created groups of people who were experts in that area. Like there was a time, if your company was around, when there was an internet group. It was a group of people who understood that internet thing and were trying to figure out how it applied to your business. The same thing happened with mobile. Maybe today it's actually happening in social. You might have a group in marketing right now, that's the social group. Well, the current transformation that we're in is the transformation around the customer. And one of the things that I'm excited about is if you look back at these other transformations, at a time there was a group that was focused on these different things at every company. But today, you will not find an internet group at any company because the internet is part of the way we do business. It has to be part and parcel of everything that we think about every single day. Same things happen with mobile. Many of us think about mobile before we think about laptop or desktop, right? And social's the same way. The point is, for companies to have survived these transformations, that thing has to become part of their DNA. It can't be a group of people who think about it on behalf of everybody else. It has to be everybody at the company bringing that to the fore and being part of the way that they think about everything. And I'm here to tell you the same thing. I guarantee you the same thing's happening with the customer. This movement towards the age of the customer, what we call the age of the customer. It's not going away. It's not a fad. And for you to survive as a company, it has to be part of the company DNA 5 years from now. There may still be a customer success team at your company, but I think one of the things they won't be doing is trying to convince the rest of the company that everything that we do should be focused on the customer. That's not going to change, right? That's going to continue. So I'm here to say to you, this transformation is one that's going to be around forever. It's not going away. And if your company, and maybe you have some responsibility for this, if your company doesn't make the customer centricity or customer obsession part of their DNA, then you will not survive as a company. It's as simple as that. There's no companies around who didn't figure out the internet. There's no companies around who don't understand how mobile fits into their world. The same thing will be true about customers. So welcome to the age of the customer, where the customer has all the power. And they really do. If you think about it, if I just use SaaS as an example, we've given customers all the power. Because we used to ask customers to buy our software, to buy the hardware to run the software on, to buy and build the data centers to put the hardware on, to run the software on, and to spend a lot of money on implementation, right? That was the day. Today, the vendor takes on all of that responsibility. Customers don't buy our software, they lease it. They don't buy any hardware. We get that from Amazon or Azure or whomever, right? They don't build data centers anymore. Those are all in co-locations, right? So the world has changed. And then we went and did something really silly, which is we put our customers on a subscription. So every 12 months, they can look at us and say, I don't think so, right? We have given them almost all the power. And by the way, they ain't giving it back. There's no way. In fact, they're going to take more. So welcome to the age of the customer. This is all happening because the business models are transforming. Many years ago, this was the business model. We call it the logistics model, where you had a product, you had a distribution channel, and you had support. That was all there was to it. In this particular world, more often than not, we actually built the product before we sold it. We moved past that, and more recently, we've been living in what we call the transaction economy. That's the sales-driven mentality, the funnel, the idea of the funnel, right? Lots of technology put into CRM, marketing automation, get as many leads in as you can, refine those leads, convert a higher percentage of them, and then after they become customers, take their call. If they call you, if they need some help, you'll take their call. Well, we've moved clearly into the age of the subscription. This is where customer success was really born. This is the world where it's not a funnel, it's an hourglass, because there's a whole sales motion that has to happen after that customer converts to or after that prospect converts into a customer. And that's where we have to do these things, adopt, expand, and renew, right? So this is the world that most of us are living in today. If you're not, your company is definitely trying to move in this direction because the public markets love the subscription model. It's forecastable, it's repeatable, et cetera. So all companies are moving in that direction. You don't have to be a software or a technology company to be thinking about how to move into the subscription economy. So what's next? Well, I think we're partway into this one already, what I call the consumption economy. And that's the economy where customers don't pay us for 12 months of using our product. They pay us every single time they use our product. They pay us for every click or every report or every transaction of some kind, right? Now, many companies have already moved into this. I worked at Marketo for a couple years, and Marketo sold their product at least partly on a consumption basis. This is a world where customer success becomes more important, right? Think about that. Today, we think about retention in terms of maybe quarterly, but more likely annual retention. In this world, it's not like that. If you're doing this consumption model, the question isn't, what's our retention rate for the last 12 months? The question is, did we make more money yesterday than we did the day before? Did our customers use our product more yesterday than they did the day before? This is an economy that's coming. Now, I use a file sharing, not to be named, file sharing company as an example. Think about this. We all use some kind of file sharing, whether it's Dropbox or Box or Ignite or whatever it might be. So we're basically leasing software. It sits on top of hardware, but hardware is commoditized. So what we're really paying for is 12 months of software when we buy a subscription to one of those companies. Think about this, because I know they're thinking about this. What would their business model and your life look like if the way that they charged was 1 penny for every download, 1 penny for every upload, and 1 penny for every file share? I guarantee you they're thinking about that. Now, the people that are really going to struggle with this are the CFOs, because this becomes very non-predictable. Personally, my CFOs over the years have caused me several headaches, so I'm more than happy to return that favor. So welcome to the consumption economy. So what comes after that? I'm not really sure, but I think it's probably something like this, what I would call the outcome economy. Now, outcome is a big buzzword today already. We're all talking about it. Customers expect outcomes from us, not software, not logins, but outcomes. So what does the outcome economy look like? Well, it looks like this. If I'm Gainsight, I might say to you during a sales process, we believe that our software will help increase your net retention by 10 points. And the customer then says, in this future economy, okay, I'll pay you when you get to 10 points. Nothing before that, and then a percentage of all the savings I get after you get to your promise. That's a world we're going to, right? Outcomes. There are companies that do this already. You pay them only when there's an outcome. Now think about that. This is a really interesting model. I think as a buyer, it's awesome, right? Because you're guaranteed not to waste money, because you could potentially never pay a vendor until they reach the goal that they promised you. It'll change everything about our business, the way we sell and everything else, but each of these transformations has already made those changes for us anyway. So I think this is coming. And what's interesting to me, and probably to everyone in the room, is the bar for customer success goes up every one of these transformations. At the end of this, there is no bar for customer success, because customer success and company are one and the same thing, right? That last cylinder, if this is actually true, there's no distinction between company success and customer success. It's not part of what we do. It's not something we think about. It's not that group over there. It is everything that we think about every day as a company. That's where we're going. So everyone in this room, I guarantee you there will be plenty of customer success jobs and way more than can be filled by people with that experience in the next few years. And the bar is going to go up. Now, it's going to make our lives tougher, but it's also going to make our jobs more important and our careers more visible. So if you like that idea, you're in the right place. If you don't, I'm not sure what to say to you, but go find another job. This is coming. The ROI of customer success is also evolving. And I can tell if I talk to you and I understand what metrics you focus on, I can tell where you are on the customer success maturity curve. And it starts with churn, right? This is where every single company early on started their customer success team, is because they had churn. Salesforce, it was because churn was really high and they needed to knock that down. When I joined Marketo, churn was too high. We were planning an IPO. We had to get that down. So everyone starts with churn. The second level of kind of metric is expansion, right? We flip that coin over and say on the other side of churn is expansion. If we know our customers are healthy, they should be buying more from us, et cetera. Lots of companies are here already. They don't have a churn problem because they started thinking about customer success from day one. So now it's all about expansion. The next level is acquisition. Some of you have started thinking about this. We have, and that is if you do customer success really well, it has an impact on acquiring new customers. And the reason for that is really simple, and it's this: because your prospects are talking to your customers right now. We live in a connected world. If you don't think this is happening, you're wrong. Don't hide your head in the sand. You have to embrace this. Your prospects are talking to your customers. And don't take my word for it. Many people smarter than me have said it. Anil Bushri is the CEO at Workday, and he basically said that same thing. We live in this world of a network effect where everyone can find out what's going on with everybody else. So doing customer success well will drive acquisition. It'll accelerate or decelerate every single sales cycle when those back channel references happen. The last one I'm talking about is pricing. The easiest way for a company to increase revenue is to raise prices, right? Every CEO in the world would love to be able to raise their prices because that's an instant return on investment. But it's not that easy to do, and it requires us to be really good at customer success. Most of us have a value chain that looks like this. Our product value is way up here. Somewhere down the line is the value that customers are actually getting, because customers never achieve the full value of our products. They just don't. And if we keep innovating, they'll never catch up with us. So the customer value is somewhere down the chain a little ways. And then, most likely, somewhere below that is the value of your product from a price standpoint. Because that's the way we sell our product, right? We price our product in such a way that we can say to customers, you're going to get way more value than what you're paying, right? That's the way we sell our product. Well, look at this chart and ask yourself, if your CEO would like to raise prices, what's the first thing that has to happen? You have to get better at customer success, because you got to move the customer value up to the next level so you can bring the price up behind it. This is why every company, no matter how viral their software might be, needs customer success, because they want to charge more for it. Therefore, customers have to get more value. And of course, along the way, your product team has to continue to innovate, because this has to go up and to the right. And all of this is really wrapped up in advocacy. Advocacy is the umbrella over everything. Everything that we do, I think, with customers is about advocacy. We want them talking about us. We want their promoter scores on NPS surveys, et cetera. And so all of these things kind of fall under that umbrella of advocacy. And customer success's responsibility is to deliver advocates. There are other ways to take advantage of those advocates. Oftentimes your marketing team, they might use something like Influitive to take those advocates and turn them into even more value for the company. But it all comes under the umbrella of advocacy. So I can say pretty straightforwardly now, we don't do these things in isolation, but if your focus as a company is on churn, then you're probably kind of at the bottom of the maturity curve. But don't worry, you're still in a very good spot. But as you move and become more mature, your focus on a particular metric will start to change. And sooner or later, our orgs will never look like this, but our world has to look like this, where everything is built around the customer. I'll go through this really quickly. Customer success as an organization also has to create institutional knowledge for the company, right? This is what's happened in the sales world. Prospects, there's institutional knowledge in all of your companies now about prospects because of CRM systems. Customer success through some kind of technology needs to do the same thing, because it needs to drive value to other organizations so that customer support can be more proactive, so that your TAMs will be better off, so that you can be better at customer advocacy, et cetera. And then it extends out to your executive management, to your product team, to your finance team. It has to start permeating everywhere. And institutional knowledge becomes so valuable. Every single person in a company would be better at their job if they knew more about their customers. That's the philosophy behind this. And I know that this transformation is going to take us there because it's exactly what happened with CRM and the whole world of understanding prospects much better. That used to be a dark art. Now it's nothing but science. It's all maths, right? And customer success and the world of customers is going to be the same way. So I'm here to say to you, no matter where you are on this journey, even if you think you're down at the bottom of the hill just focusing and fighting churn, and very few are at the top of that hill, it's okay, because there's a whole bunch of companies who haven't even started yet. So you're in a really good place no matter where you are on that journey. There's a bunch of companies that haven't even thought about it yet. And all those companies, by the way, are going to need people with your kind of experience in the next couple of years when they start to realize that this customer transformation is real and that they better be part of it. Okay, thank you. I know that applause was because I chose not to sing anymore, but I appreciate it anyway. Now I have the great honor for the second time to introduce Jeffrey Moore as our keynote speaker. He spoke at our very first Pulse in San Francisco in 2013, and he can tell you how he in the middle of his keynote, the fire alarm went off for like 11 minutes, and Jeffrey stood here very calmly, waited till it turned off, and we didn't have to evacuate, and then picked up just like nothing had happened. So I love this quote from Jeffrey for two reasons. Number one, it says everything that we are trying to say in a much more succinct way, which is you need to take a page out of the customer success playbook, in the SaaS playbook, and start a customer success function or discipline, no matter what size company or what kind of company you are. But the other thing I love about this quote is that he embedded a quote from the Doors in the middle of it, break on through to the other side. So I don't think when Jeffrey wrote this a couple months ago, he didn't know we were going to do a music-themed Pulse and he was going to be here speaking, but I'm glad he did. So Jeffrey Moore, as many of you know, Crossing the Chasm is an iconic book of the last 10 years or so. I won't say 20 because I don't know if it was 20 years ago, but it's one of the great books. And Jeffrey's latest book, Zone to Win, is equally as good. If you don't have it, you should pick it up because it's really great. Jeff's also the founder of the Chasm Group and a well-known speaker as well, so let me get off the stage and let him come and speak to you. Thanks.